Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. We need to have a conversation because Pax Unplugged is requiring vaccines this year. This is a piece of information that I had no idea about until about 3 days ago when I was looking through some information around travel plans and a few friends mentioned it to me. My concern is most of you all are probably not paying as close of attention. I mean, it's my job to pay attention to these things, to go to these events, to be there and spend time. This might be a lot of yours first convention, and if you're not following the rules and guidelines, there's a strong chance you won't be allowed in the doors, and you won't get a refund for the time, travel, expenses, and tickets that you've already purchased. There is going to be a mask mandate, meaning you have to have a approved face covering during the entire time you're within the Pax Unplugged convention hall or space at all. And along with that, in order to pick up your badge, get your wristband, and, join the festivities, you're going to have proof of your vaccination. And we'll walk through the details of exactly how to do that, but I don't want you to show up. I don't want you to show up and not be accepted at the gate because you didn't bring the right paperwork or you didn't fill out the right information before showing up. Because I'm going to be honest, there was a strong chance that me and a lot of the people around me would have shown up with a screenshot of our vaccination card or having not gone through the app process to have kind of an easy and accessible way to just show you're vaccinated. And by the way, this video is not a conversation about COVID, it's not a conversation about masks, it's not a conversation about vaccinations, it's not a conversation about any of that. We are not going to fight and debate down in the comments down below. If anyone leaves a argumentative or overly aggressive comment concerning any of that, I don't care, I'm going to delete it, I'm going to block you from commenting on the videos. That being said, PAX is requiring vaccinations. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No use debating the principle of the thing. That's just the case. If you're attending this convention, you have to have it, period. So, what do you need to know in order to not, show up or have issues? First off, let's go through exactly what they say. I'm going to use their words to talk about what you need. Attendees will be asked to show proof of full vaccination on their smartphone or through a physical copy, along with an appropriate ID matching the name on the documentation. And that's important if you have one of those weird names or a name that doesn't always match up. For all attendees, your document needs to be directly from the healthcare provider that performed the vaccination, and you can display your proof on your smartphone or present a physical copy. Anyone 18 years or older must also present a government-issued ID, such as a driver's license or a passport. Those younger than 18 may use a government-issued ID, birth certificate, or social security card, school ID, or locally issued ID. Fully vaccinated is going to mean that by the date of the event you are attending, you must be at least 14 days after your second dose, or 14 days after your single dose if it's a single dose issued vaccine. So, some important things to take note of there. You need proof from the healthcare provider that issued your vaccine. I don't know that photos of your card, selfies with your card when we were all kind of celebrating and showing off that we got vaccinated, I don't know that those will actually be accepted or approved. If you haven't reached back out to your healthcare provider and you don't know where your card is, I'm going to be honest, I don't. We just moved. I put it somewhere so I'd never lose it. I have no idea where it is. I'm sure it's safe and sound. But I've reached back out to the clinic where I got my vaccination, and they're going to be sending me the documentation that I need so that I have it on hand. If you haven't taken those steps and you don't have your card to bring with you, you need to make sure you do that before you show up to PAX. There's a chance that they're going to be more stringent when it comes to how you actually show proof of vaccination. A scan or a printout of your, stuff, it just might not be enough. And I want you to take as many steps as possible to make sure that you don't run into issues there at the gate. The way they're going to be operating, and this is important, I'll pull up the email. If you're coming to get your registration, you will have a wristband system to verify your full COVID-19 vaccination in order to enter the event. This verification process will be in addition to the metal detectors, and they're going to be at the entrance of the Pennsylvania Convention Center, and additional security within the convention center and off-site venues that is standard at PAX. In addition, you must wear an approved face mask at all time. For more details, you can check the health and safety guidelines. I'll have a link down below. To enter the show, you must have a wristband verifying your vaccination and PAX badge. Both items can be picked up at the ground hall of the PCC. You can either verify your vaccination through the Clear Health Pass. That's the app that PAX is actually working with. I have it right here on my phone. It's going to be the Clear Health Pass. And this is going to attach your pass. If you have the documentation, you can scan your card and have it imported here. It verifies your ID, ties everything together, makes it as simple as possible. You can tie that directly to Pax Unplugged. This is going to be the simplest and easiest way to process and not deal with if, ands, or buts around whether or not you're going to be let in and improved. That will get you your wristband. You'll also need a government-issued ID and vaccination record on site. Along with that, now, you can either do it physical, on-site, or you can do it through the Clear Health app. I don't know if any other digital access points are going to be accepted. So keep that in mind. The email that I have has said the Clear Health app is the thing they're going through. Along with that, you can only pick up your own badge. You also cannot get a replacement badge if you lose it. So make sure you have a strong lanyard, a way to keep it attached, a way to keep it safe, because there's not going to be much leniency or grace when it comes to reissuing and rehanding out badges, because they want to keep everyone at the convention hall as safe as possible. So, why is this important? What should you be aware of? Well, here's the thing. There's no question around this. There's no refunds if you're unable to go due to COVID at all. And I think a lot of people would have shown up or are going to show up. I'm going to guess like a quarter of the people that are going to be showing up are probably not going to be aware of this restriction or of the steps they need to take in order to get their wristband. I wasn't paying attention. One of my best friends who's working for a booth, the exhibitors never explained that to them, and they're handing him his badge, so he didn't know. Alex didn't know until we got the updated email this week from PAX. I don't know that communication has been the best around this convention, around what you need in order to get in. I think that's going to create a problem. So some things to keep in mind, some things to have factored in. You're probably going to have longer lines than ever before to actually get into the convention hall. And PAX, like 2 years ago, was insane. It was a couple hours to wait to actually get in. Along with that, there's going to be, I would guess, something like 20 to 25% of the people that don't have their information on hand. They're going to be slowing down the process, trying to convince people that they can get in. They're going to have to match their ID with their card, with their app. It's going to be a whole process and sequence. Download the Clear app, get everything set up. If you're going, that's going to be the easiest way to transition through this process, as simple as possible. And finally, if you're not currently vaccinated, if you haven't got the vaccination, or you've been around anyone who's been exposed to COVID, you need to make sure that you, first off, you're not going to be able to get the vaccination in time. You're going to have to make new travel plans. If you've been around anyone who's been exposed to COVID, make sure you're within the designated time range to self-isolate and quarantine before you're going. So double check your days, double check your dates, and I would, if I were you, swing over to a little clinic or a CVS and get a expedited COVID test just to make sure that you're completely clear before coming to the event. As far as face coverings, you have to have a mask. I don't believe gaiters are going to be accepted. And along with that, if you're dressing up, if you're wearing anything that covers your face in any way, your mask has to be entirely visible. So that means if you're wearing costume or planning to do something cool, or you have anything that covers your face region, your mask, you can't have face coverings that obscure your mask in any way. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want a few different masks. They get warm, they get humid. You're going to want to have something to swap out so that if they get damp and musty in front of you, you can put a new one on. It helps with comfort level. Make sure you're wearing something that's comfortable but also secure. Has a little band here that fits kind of around your face and nose. It really is kind of one of these things, right? It's a big process, and comfort and getting used to these at conventions is something we've already done at Gen Con and at Origins, and I've learned a few things along the way. Like I said, I always make sure I have them fit securely. I always make sure that it's a good, dense fabric that's still breathable, that's still comfortable. And I usually have 2 or 3 of these that tie differently. They don't all fit around my ears in order to give me a little bit of a change of how I have them pulling or resting on my head. So, with that being said, let me know. Are you excited to go to PAX? What games are you looking forward to? And were you aware of this mandate before watching this video? Because I wasn't. And I think that's a problem. I think communication has been lacking when it comes to letting everyone know sort of the restrictions and security measures in place. So, either way, whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you soon at PAX Unplugged.